All right, we are live now.
Live now. All right.
And we are gonna let's share the live.
share the live.
Let's share the live, and then
we'll start over.
Then we'll start the intro.
That's funny. All right, here we go. Boom. Boom. Start a watch party. We should have figured it out when we were sharing it. I didn't, we didn't hear anything when we were sharing it. Oh well, whatever. Good enough. Booyah.
All right. Let's get the show on the road, shall we?
Back again now.
In a world with an increasingly complex jiu-jitsu landscape, these two complete fucking morons are here to break things
Such a
down
harsh-
and give you their unsolicited opinions
description.
in the most offensive way possible.
You sound really dicky about
We're
it. too.
talking about the old man
Fucking
grappling
morons.
hour. Tune in and listen, and we'll have you wondering where that hour just went.
Where the fuck did that hour go? We already wasted 20 fucking minutes of it trying to figure out how to get the fucking link set up. We're back now. Running live again. 14 eyeballs. There we go.
All right, this time it's working.
Audio is working. High fives around. You just literally missed some of the most amazing. I spent 20 minutes or 5 minutes talking about the shape of Sonny Parlin's head. I don't think I'm going to be able to recreate it.
Yeah.
It was classic.
We were basically just commenting on how my head looks. Like
Classic radio. So I'm on vacation this week.
Didn't bring a lighter in here.
Son of a
Damn it.
It's sunny.
I swear to God.
Do you want to go get a lighter real quick?
Yes.
I'll hold the fort
hold
down.
the fort
I'll
down?
hold the fort
All
down. I'll try not to let my head explode. So I'm on vacation this week. It's a marvelous vacation. I'm in my beach place at Sarasota for the week. I come here every year. One of my favorite weeks of the year. I come out here and chill and relax. And this week I'm not working, so I get to fucking sit out here all goddamn week. It's pretty amazing. I love it too, man. I love going out there, sit by the water. I come up and hang out with Sonny. I trained at Bradenton this morning with a couple of his guys, with the Huggy Bear and Mitch. And I roll with fucking cocksucker, Creepy Dom, little bitch. Little fucking Creepy Dom. I'm mad at you, little fucker.
He's all mad at you.
I mean, I'll get over it. What happened to your headphones? Why are you wearing earbuds?
The other headphones broke.
Oh, that sucks.
That's all right. These work fine.
Yeah, little fucker. It's all right. No big deal. So I was rolling with him. We were going hard, and he pissed me off. He's a little bitch. He pissed me off He pissed you off this morning. I mean, it's no big deal. I'm just crazy about it. I don't know why I get upset about it.
I never get upset when I roll.
I get it, but like, he's just got this little cocky little fucking
I'm
shit.
so used to being, because I'm the pretty much. I mean, Brett's there a lot of times, but a lot of times I'm the only black belt there.
Yeah.
And pretty much when everybody rolls with me, they're coming after me. They're not fucking around. And I'm just so used to that at this point. I don't even care.
I know. Dude, I would not fuck anyway. So I was rolling with Creepy Dom, and I fucking whatever. He pissed me off, so I went a little bit hard with him. And then it's my fault because I guess I pushed the pace or whatever. But I got tired. He was rolling. I went for a leg lock and just because, and I sat back, and that fucker jumped on my back, and he fucking cracked my goddamn face with a rear naked choke, like fucking, and it was like nowhere near my fucking chin. Like it was literally right.
No, he was off.
It
to
was
his side
like literally right across my fucking face.
But
it was tight.
But the thing is, he didn't have it because he was off to the side.
Right. It hurt like a motherfucker. It was like nowhere near my fucking throat. And I'm sitting there, I'm thinking to myself, all right, cool. Like this fucking sucks, but there's no way in hell I'm gonna fucking tap to this. And like if I could get out of it and I can like scrape my goddamn eyeballs out and get out of it if I fucking need to, but I didn't want to fucking do it. And there was like fucking 10 seconds left on the clock, and I was like, fuck it, I'll just sit here and eat it for a minute.
And then he held the choke after the bell.
Like the bell rung, and he fucking held on. I was like, bitch, get the fuck off him.
He wanted that tap, man. He wanted that. I tell you, when you're a black belt, bro, they come after you.
I get it, dude. But so here's my thing. Like, I would never do that to somebody. I wouldn't fucking face crank you.
I hope you do.
No, I just
no
for
real, bro.
It's a dick move.
No,
man. I don't know. Maybe in
disagree.
I don't know, dude. No, I don't.
I don't believe that there. I do not believe there are dick moves.
I would not. If I'm fucking going for a rear naked choke and I am not underneath someone's fucking chin, like, and it doesn't matter, and we're just training in the gym. Like, I am not going to squeeze through that fucking guy's face. Like, I'm not going to do that.
I actually like to do the rear naked face crank. So I'll get like
Yeah,
the
I
head
guess,
turned to the
man.
side,
But there's like
and then I'll grab.
so yes,
like a cable grip.
that is technique oriented, and you know that is
Yeah.
definitely technique oriented. But you also know when you're just fucking like cranking someone's goddamn cheekbones together.
Well, he's mad at you,
just
Dom.
fucking like, no, it's cool. I'm not mad at you, kid. I'm really not. I'm just a crazy person. Because the problem is it puts me in. It gave me like a little panic attack, and now I'm fucking like, and now I'm dwelling on it and shit like that. But I love you, kid. You're a dick. I get it. You're a fucking cocky fucking purple belt. That's what you're gonna.
No,
roll
he's
like that.
brown belt.
Is he brown belt now? Oh fuck him. He's still fucking. He's good. It was good. It's a good roll. Good roll. You little fucking
He
prick.
just got his brown belt
You little fucking bitch.
like
It just pisses me off too because I wanted to fucking.
less than a week ago.
Oh, he did. Yeah, with Huggy Bear.
Huh?
With
No.
Huggy.
No, Dom. I'm saying.
No, Huggy got his brown belt too, right? Same
Yeah,
thing.
Huggy got his brown belt a little while
Yeah.
back, but
Uh,
Dom, I
Oh,
just gave him
cool.
his brown
Dom's
belt.
a brown belt.
Yeah, he's the brown belt for sure.
Huggy was a good roll too. Huggy was a good brown belt. He was a fun roll. He was fun to roll.
Huggy's a motherfucker to deal with.
Yeah, he's big. He's a big boy. He was fun to roll with. It was fun to move around with him. He's got good
I
jiu-jitsu.
rolled with him the other day and I caught him and I was like, I felt lucky.
Yeah, yeah, he's a big bitch. He's a big bitch. He rolls very intently, which is like that higher level brown belt kind of roll. Like we were talking about, like he strategizes. And he kind of like puts moves together and hides his techniques a little bit better.
Yeah, and I saw how he got out of a couple of your guard pass attempts, and I was actually like, oh, that's cool, man. I didn't think to do that because like typically, here, lift up your chair for a second. Typically, when you get me into that like Bernardo Ferrara passing position, like you'll pass my guard, you know. And he just kind of like inverted and then just pulled his leg out.
Yeah, and
sat
kind of
back
right.
down.
He sat back down.
I was like, that was cool.
Yeah, he's got good mobility.
Yeah,
he's got good mobility. He's fun and because he's so big. Normally, when guys do that, I'll come around the top. You know what I'm talking about, and start to try to pass to that side. But because he was so big and he was inverting all the way, I was worried about him rolling through for the knee bar. And
that was another thing. I really like how your guard passing is very dynamic. Like you'll pass to one side.
Oh, that's my new funk.
And then you'll jump to the other side. Like
Dude,
that's
man.
pretty dope.
I'm telling you, man. Like my guard passing system that I use is legit as fuck.
It looks like it's based on Bernardo
really
Ferrara.
It really is. Yeah, but it all runs off of that over underpass into the double underpass. And now what I'm doing a lot is I go hard for the double underpass and I wait for guys to put the leg down and start to shrimp out. And then I'll hop to the backside as soon as they do that for the smash pass.
Okay.
It's almost like an insta fucking pass. It's how I'm passing like higher level guys.
I like doing the Pablo stuff. I mean, specifically I've worked with James Brasco on it, and it's really fun. I also work a lot of the shit that I learned from the Gordon Ryan passing DVD.
Yeah.
But specifically though, I love to try to put guys in half guard and then get chest to chest and then try to pass their guard.
Yeah, that's a very
like traditional,
very traditional
Pablo,
old school
Marcelo.
Pablo Popovich, like freaking guys. That's all they did, man. They passed to the fucking half guard. They got the underhook and got shoulder pressure, and they just squeezed it out and pass that way. They'd get the instep in and move through like that. That's the James Brasco.
Yeah, that's how Brasco passes, and
Yeah.
Pablo and Marcelo.
And it's just a grind, man.
Yeah, it's a grinding pass, but it's
I think
true.
I think jiu-jitsu has gotten way more dynamic since those days. Like I don't know much about Gordon Ryan's that leg weave and stuff that him and Wagner do. I'd like to watch some of that technique video just to kind of get more versed in that. I'm sure it's similar to the same thing I think about when I do my guard pass and stuff.
Let me ask you a question, and I'll give you my thoughts on it, and then I want to hear what your thoughts. But I was talking to a prospective student. Actually, he paid for a 2-week trial, and he was asking me all kinds of questions about jiu-jitsu and what it's all about, and like more along the lines of like what belts are there in jiu-jitsu. He was asking really basic questions,
Right.
And I was started to tell him that how it can take a long time to get your black belt. I said, like sometimes it could take, I've seen it take up to 10, 15, 20 years for some people. And he looked at me crazy. And while I was saying that, I was kind of disagreeing with myself because I think the coaching of today, the resources that we have, like everything together, like I really don't think that, especially if you're training all the time, I don't think it takes 10 years anymore to get a black belt. I think you can do
Yeah,
it.
I was thinking about that too, man. Like I was, and then what I
Just think
thought
the
about it,
information that's
and
available
and
now.
it's funny because then what I thought about was even more of this. I thought about how my mind and my jujitsu knowledge has advanced since I've gotten my black belt.
Right.
And I think to myself, wow, maybe I wasn't really, maybe this is really what they talk about when they talk about a black belt. And this is the level that I should be thinking at. Because, like, this, my philosophies and my concepts from when I first got my black belt, I've been a black belt for 3 years now. And from when I first got my black belt to where I am now are completely
Yeah,
fucking
me
different.
too. In fact, one of the things that people started saying like about a year after I got my black belt was that my pressure was like my pressure had increased. Like,
Yeah.
and I was like, it has?
Yeah, I mean, it's my mastery of the topic continues. It's weird too, man. Like, so I don't know. I thought about that. I was actually thinking about that, and then thinking about to myself, like, wow, maybe when I got my black belt, if you think about what the traditional methodologies to, you've talked about the IBJJF, it takes 10, 12 years or so. Maybe we're giving about, or maybe we're just advancing better, and because the techniques are getting better, we're moving down the road faster.
James Brasco, hello. We were just talking about you.
Come on, hit the fucking link, you prick.
You missed it. We were talking about you.
Come on, jump on the horn.
I'm not going to tell you what we said
Yeah,
unless you join in the conversation.
His dumbass won't be able to figure that fucking thing out.
Um,
Send him a personal link here. Send him a link, like personally, because he won't fucking figure that shit out.
All right.
He's hardly gonna figure it out if we send it to him this way. He's mad at me now anyway, so he won't even fucking. He's like, Kevin's talking shit about me. We're gonna let you come on. You can talk about how you got fucked in the fucking the ADCCs and fucking like 2002.
See, now I know I know Brasco a little better than you because I've been hanging with him lately, and now you're pissing him off.
You could
what?
Oh shit!
Oh, can you just use that one for now, just for the next hour?
I'm sorry.
You'll survive it,
She
baby.
hates me.
Hey, come on! Father's Day was a couple days ago.
I would have given this one back. You're gonna get me and Jim. She's gonna be mad at me. Come on, James, get on here.
She can deal with that shitty chair.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that. I don't know if.
Hey, Robbie.
What's that, Robbie D?
So yeah, we're just.
I don't know if that
makes
a difference. Yeah,
I'll let you talk.
Yeah.
If you're just joining, we're talking about the time it takes to get a black belt 10 years ago as it compared to today. So anyway.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know. I've noticed that a lot, and I think that I mean, regardless of what we believe or not, like a black belt is what we mean it to be a black belt now, because there's so many goddamn black belts and times have changed, and this is the way we're doing things. But I don't think it's watering the art down, and I think that's the biggest concern that they have about that. I mean, I don't think
guys getting their belts sooner waters the art down.
Yeah,
I think what waters. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't want to say what waters the art down because it's very controversial.
What the fuck? What are we doing here, man?
You want me to say it?
Why not? Do you talk about it, bro?
All right, man. I'm gonna say it.
Say it. So go on, preach on.
I think what waters the art down are these old school guys that hold on to the self-defense shit as it being like that's the only true jujitsu, and all the rolling stuff and all of that's bullshit, and it's for sport. I think those guys are watering the art down. But that's just one black belt's opinion. Okay. I train self-defense. I train MMA. I train sport jiu-jitsu. Right. When I say I train MMA, I mean I'm not in there sparring. Fuck that.
Yeah,
but I coach MMA,
Right.
And I could tell you right now, man, it's all fucking jiu-jitsu.
Who is that? Is that Brasco? He figured it out. This motherfucker, he figured it out. I have no faith in you.
Robbie was like, say it.
I had zero faith in you figuring that out. I'm still not sure you got it. Say something. So
What's up, Kevin?
there he is. All right, now
Was
we
you
can
just
hear
flushing the
Were
toilet?
you taking a shit? Did we get James Brasco out here taking a shit?
Jeez.
No, we were we were complimenting your guard passing, and I
Yes.
was saying that I've learned a lot from you because I really admire the Pablo Popovich style of half guard passing, and I've sort of turned that into my game, and I've learned picked up quite a few tips from you, And in fact, we're going to be having James in to Gracie Bradenton for a seminar, a guard passing seminar, and it's going to be a good one. And we're going to do that. We're going to work those details out soon. Probably do it next month.
You should teach
After
that fucking inside.
We're going to wait till COVID calms back the fuck down.
You should teach that inside trip you do too. That's a slick takedown.
I will.
That's your moneymaker.
I show people a lot.
Yeah.
Just, you know. But, you know, with Pablo Popovich's guard passing, yeah, he was awesome, but I've had to refine that. There's a couple things that very interesting that I noticed. If you watch him and Marcelo Garcia, Pablo Popovich sits on his knees and Marcelo sits in the guard and they hand fight.
Right.
Okay. And if you watch me versus Braulio years ago, I sat on my knees and Braulio sat in his guard and hand fought. So that was only, my point is I was only grappling the way I was taught.
Right.
So as time's gone on and leg locks have been a little more, you know, things have changed. That's whenever and then, for instance, when I fought, so I've never done any different is my point. Then I fought Lucas Barboza on my knees and I might've got warned once for a passivity. And then I kept never. Listen to my point.
Not you. Come on, not you.
Listen, no, go ahead. Listen. I understand. Keep talking. I'm getting. I see where you're going here with this.
We're fucking with you.
This has taken a journey and years to understand. Then
right.
And then I fought various matches. Oh, I was wrestling. I went against Matt Tesla in that trial final, and I remember I defended his leg locks, or not even knowing from my knees. And the announcer even said, wow, Brasco has great position on his knees. There's never a problem with it, right? So then I went against Jackson Sosa, fought the same exact way, you know, maybe even a little better.
Right.
And I got hit for all those penalties, remember? So what I'm saying is I've had to change my style. And right now, when I do my passing, I do a lot. I mix it up a lot from knees to standing.
Yeah, I noticed that lately.
In my opinion, you can't really pass on your knees. You can't. And I've come to that conclusion.
I disagree because I think Pablo still could.
You can, but you really got to get an angle on a guy.
You got to grind it. You got to grind it out.
But you just said it. But ready for this? Kevin, you ready for this?
I'm ready. Tell me, James, what do you got for me?
When you're in a high level competition and you're on your knees trying to grind that pass out, it might take 3 minutes, right, Sonny?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and you make a good point, Brasco.
You know where I'm going with this, right? So I started getting hit for fucking penalties and it started fucking going backwards on me. So I've had to change my style to stand up, pass in, and I throw that little leg lock in I do. And I've really improved this shit a lot. So I'm anxious to teach people what I've learned.
Yeah, well, and we're anxious to have you in for the seminar, bro, for sure.
And then Kevin can fuck with me some more.
I can't see you right now. I don't know what Sonny Parlin's doing, but I can agree with you, man. I think we have the patience, right? But I think where you get into the problems is that I like the idea that you talk about changing up to where at least you're moving from one position to another, because I think a lot of times what happens is I get the idea that you're trying to control and maintain so they can't shrimp out and limit their options, and you're not going to do that the whole time. So a lot of times you're just sitting there hugging the hips, but like when you're just sitting there hugging the hips and time's going on, it's very easy. Like the rules have changed. Like we're not allowing that anymore in the rule structure. So you have to move it around.
Well, I also think a little, you get a little bit of a reputation for being so. Don't worry about them. You get a little reputation of.
What's Professor Gracie? Sorry.
Yeah, you get a little reputation for maybe not being unsweepable. Right. That's it. I mean, it's really hard to sweep. That's my style. And then you get a reputation for always getting the takedown and being on top. Right.
Right.
So then
But
all of a sudden, all of
the
a
problem.
sudden,
The problem
like,
with you though,
fuck.
the problem with you though, James, I love you, dude. But like you have to recognize that you have that fucking people know that. The people you
Well,
are
that's
that
what I'm
guy
saying. That's
and
what
you
I
have that
was saying.
reputation. So right, so I'm glad. See, this is awesome because
I switched it all up.
I
my
feel like
friend.
this is awesome. I feel like you've like I feel like you've like turned the corner here, man. I feel like you went to therapy about this.
No,
or
you know
something
what?
like that.
I'll tell you what James has been doing to his credit, right? To his credit, he comes and trains at Gracie Bradenton, and bro, he plays a totally different game. He'll sit guard. You know what I mean? He'll go against all these guys, good guys too, you know, and he'll sit guard and play the leg game with them. And
But-
he's really trying to expand like you are, you know,
Right.
like you've expanded over the last couple of
Yeah.
years, you know.
But I
It's
think
also
I get
made it-
you're
it's made it
very
more-
talented jujitsu terrier.
But
James.
it's
that
made,
what it's called?
made it a lot more fun too, because when I'm on my way to the gym, I'm like, oh, I think I'm going to play bottom all day today. And there are guys at that gym that are pretty good on top, Swan and stuff. They can put some good pressure on you on top. And man, if you know you want to, when you start feeling a little pressure, and I always say I'm not allowed to stand up, man. You know how you can get out of the kitchen by standing up,
Right.
Well, I'm like, I'm not gonna stand up. I'm gonna fucking stay right in the pocket.
What's the
Good.
matter with you, man? Are you sick or something? You feel like you sound like shit.
No, I'm all right.
Yeah, you just waking up or some shit.
No, but I've been dealing with this fucking ringworm on my head.
Ah, that's a good one. Nice.
Yeah, the quick Brasco story. This is classic Brasco. Okay, this is he drives. How long? What's your drive? 40 minutes to my gym.
Yeah, 35, 40.
So he drives 40 minutes to my gym. He's got his fight shorts on. He's got his rash guard on. He comes into the gym and he tells on himself. He goes, "Look, I got ringworm on my forehead." My girlfriend, she thinks it's just a spider bite or something, but I know it's a ringworm.
Why would you drive?
So hold on. So I go, "Yeah, Brasco, I'm looking at it. It's fucking ringworm. You can't train, bro." He's like, "I know, bro. I know." Okay. And then he gets up and he walks out and he drives back to fucking 40 minutes. You could like, were
I
you just
didn't go
looking
that
for
far.
confirmation? Were you just looking for confirmation that you definitely had ringworm?
You take the drive just to
Because
find
you could
out.
have gone. You could have gone to the clinic.
Like the CVS would have told
Yeah,
you like
CVS.
that. Man.
Okay, so I went to the infirmary. You know, what do you call it? The fucking urgent.
Urgent
The
care.
woman, the doctor's clueless. She never told me to. She never said Lotramine or, by the way, Lamicel's killing it. And then I got a pill. She never gave me anything, and I wasted a week because she said it could have been a bug bite, and it's definitely not ringworm or staph. You're fine. Just keep doing what you're doing. So I put some stupid,
Like, dude, I'm no offense to doctors out there, but I've seen ringworm probably a lot more than them.
oh, I know. That's my point. It was so dumb.
Probably.
So anyway, I got it on. It's almost dead completely now, though. But
We're gonna bring Robbie on.
I'm taking Lamisil. If you guys want to laugh, Eddie Bravo has a PSA.
What's up, guys?
What's up,
What up,
Robbie?
man?
Hey guys, Eddie Bravo has a really cool thing on YouTube. It's a
My shirt off.
PSA for.
We should
what
take
to
our shirts
do if
off
you
too.
get it.
It should be like this is like the shirtless
The
show.
shirtless show?
Yeah, I think
All right,
so.
hang on.
Hold on.
Oh my God, you guys are
Yeah,
too
we need
much.
like-
Get ready, ladies.
Somebody said Nicky
I was-
Rodriguez.
oh, no.
fucking,
This is too much.
there we go. Why not?
Devin
Shit.
still has a sweater on.
This is like now it's like gay porn. Now it's like some weird like grinder show or something.
This is fucking hilarious, by the way.
Our demographic just grew.
Yeah, where's all the women tuning in? Huh? How come there's no women tuning in
We
now?
need Nicky Rod to jump on.
Yeah, let's get Nicky Rod. Somebody send him a message.
So
Oh God. Anyway,
Robbie.
that's the story. So
Yeah,
first of all, how you feeling, dude? You doing all right?
I feel fine.
Yeah, you feeling good today, man? Cool.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
But I wanted to tell a story about Pablo Popovich. His
Tell
dog,
us.
Patsy.
Tell us.
When I was in China, I went, we trained. I was there 9 days early, and we trained a lot, me and Pablo. And he taught me a badass guard. He passed my guard like I was nothing. I felt like I did not belong. But he did this thing where he's on his knees,
Fuck is
and he would take his knees and squeeze my legs with his
What's he
knees.
doing?
and then I would push off to try to get out, and then he was doing like the golf swing pass.
Yeah.
But ever since he did that pass, I do it constantly, and it works on all the fucking leg lockers.
Yeah.
So I mean, I like how Pablo passed the guard. He helped me immensely with that. But I do definitely think you need to mix it up with standing and smash passing as well.
Hoshina Carlin Gracie just said, as long as you don't make eye contact, it's not gay.
So anyone else that wants to jump on, they can, but you have to be shirtless.
you have to take your
You have
shirt
to
off
take your shirt
first.
off. It's the shirtless Tuesday show.
Let's get Silver Fox on here. I want to see what his body looks
He's
like.
probably got some silver.
Hey,
Hey, that's kind of weird.
can I make a point?
Yes, sir. Tell us more about guard passing.
No, this is really interesting. In competition, if Pablo Popovich is on his knees in a competition, he's up 2-0, and that's he's how and then how many referees are really going to hit him for?
What the fuck? Can you talk about anything else but stalling? every training. I love you, baby, but every single thing you've said is figured out a way to funnel into stalling.
We have to move it because I know that's your big thing.
Every direction we've gone down is took a turn back into so.
Wow.
That's a great story. But what about if Pablo Popovich?
I'm proud that I fixed it. That's all.
I don't think of Pablo as a staller.
Right.
I don't. I mean,
I don't mean it that way.
Fucking, he passed everybody except
smart.
Marcelo.
I've seen him pass Marcelo.
He was a smart competitor. That's all.
Yeah, he is.
In fact, it's my favorite ADC. It's my favorite match of all time. You know, no offense to current king grapplers out there, but my favorite match of all time is Pablo Popovich versus Marcelo Garcia. I think it was 2009 ADCC. Pablo won that year. It's the year that Marcelo's rash guard fell apart.
Yeah, and he did.
Roscoe, put the fucking rapper somewhere. Throw the rapper in a garbage can or something.
Dude, you're making so much noise. I'm going to delete you in a second.
Eat, but you can't be opening the shit next to the microphone.
It's killing us.
Me. Go ahead. Sorry.
He did pass Marcelo.
Yeah, in the last 30 seconds of the match, he passed Marcelo's guard, held him for 3 fucking seconds. Marcelo re-guarded, boom. Pablo got the points and won the match.
Yeah, that was
like the Pablo about his matches with Marcelo, and he said that what he didn't expect or didn't know how to deal with Marcelo is his aggression from the start of the match to the end of the match. You know, Marcelo didn't slow down. He just
never
went
stops.
for it. There were no breaks.
Yeah.
And that's what threw Pablo off about Marcelo.
Have you ever rolled him before, man? It's the same shit, dude. Even like
I
everybody.
rolled Pablo and Marcelo.
Yeah, I didn't roll with Pablo. I rolled with Marcelo a couple times, and it's
The thing
it's
is, what he means
go the whole time.
What he means too is when in the ADCC rules, there's no points in the first 5, and there are points in the second. Pablo will come out, and most grapplers do come out. I'd say 50%, but Marcelo was like a nutcase. Yeah, he went after you like a machine, and then that's whatever he would catch him all the time. So I remember Pablo train. I went through the whole thing when he trained for that. I never seen anyone train so hard in my life. Besides one other guy.
He trained hard for that. My understanding is that Pablo trained jiu-jitsu like twice a week, and the rest of the time he lifted weights.
I've never seen anyone train so much jiu-jitsu in my life.
Wow.
He'd do like pro training and then come in and I'd come in and he'd be like, dude, I just did 30 minutes with Wagner again. I'm like, oh my God.
Wow.
So that's whenever Wagner was coming up, remember?
Wagner taught me a lot about guard passing too.
Well, my point is, he was constantly training. He was a machine.
Yeah. The one thing Wagner said, and he mentioned it in jest to me, he probably doesn't even remember saying it, but it's something that changed the way I pass the guard forever.
Is that James fucking underwear?
We're just looking at your
Are we just
crotch.
looking at your ass? Nothing. Go ahead.
Oh, my
nice look.
Jesus.
Nice, Roscoe.
That's sexy. All right.
He looks like the person in the picture in that God painted picture, the Sistine Chapel.
God, continue. You guys
Sorry,
continue
Robbie.
having a coherent conversation.
Wagner goes, because he was passing my guard. I'm like, how do you keep doing that? Like, what are you doing? And he goes, oh, I'm just making sure you're lying on your back first.
Yeah.
Like it changed the way I looked at it. Like he doesn't pass you unless you are lying on your back, literally. So he makes sure that's the case before he advances forward. And that was like a big eye-opening thing for me. And now I do the same thing.
Yeah, because if you're on your back, you can't shrimp away.
Right. You can't do much. So he pins your hips with the knee cut, but he pins you to your back.
Yeah.
And then continues to pass, which I was like, whoa, that's
He didn't do as much of the like underhook shoulder pressure passing either. He would stay just on the hip and kind of like knee slice through, right?
It was the
Whoa.
knee cut.
Yeah.
The knee cut, but he used that knee and his shin as a wedge
Yeah.
on your hip and your thigh, so you can't turn to half guard.
Right.
So he would establish that knee cut position, make sure you're on your back, and then he would get that underhook and pass you.
Listen, we had the best passing.
If you guys are just
Oh my
joining us
God.
now, it is Naked Podcast Day. Everybody on this podcast is naked. It's only weird for me and Kevin because we're in the same room.
We totally look like a fucking gay couple.
Nice.
Just so you know, so Kelly, my wife, she goes, I said, hey, can you hear me? She opens the door and she sees this. I have multiple monitors, just gay naked men everywhere. And she goes, oh my God. All I know is I had it on and I'm listening, and then I had other things going on, and then I turn back around, I'm like, what is going on? And
Think about Nebraska.
Nebraska.
I think he's going to change his outfit.
Come back on, James. We were meaning James Braska.
This is too average for him. And then I was like, okay, I started pulling off my shirt, and she goes, Jesus.
Think about people that are watching the show like at work on their cubicle. If like people walk by and see it, like, what the fuck is Tom watching? Anyway, Robbie.
Yeah.
Robbie, sorry, brother. Sorry.
Go ahead,
No,
man.
you're good, man. Tony,
Yeah,
you're super white, man.
Yeah, I know. He's Mexican.
Well, actually, you know what's funny
It's
is
the
my
light.
back. Yeah, it's the light. But my back. I was just at the beach, and I look.
Show
Mexican.
those traps again. That was a hot little pic. The way you
I
the way you
did.
rolled your shoulders back in the air. There you go. Oh, hello.
Whoa.
Not like you. Hey.
Órale, way.
Oh my gosh, Kevin! Like I
Well,
was
you
like,
really are a Mexican.
Yeah. Órale, güey, ¿qué onda? Kevin looks huge, like ripped, like
No,
just.
I'm fat, dude.
Yeah.
No, I'm super fat.
Okay, back
It's
to
just-
Robbie.
it's
Robbie,
just
sorry.
that
Go.
gut underneath
No.
this.
I'm super fat too. Hey, Tony, I don't think you and I have ever rolled together.
We have rolled once together, and your exact words were, "I want to see what this Tony thing is about." I was like, "Yeah," and it was like fighting a fucking crab. Like there was nothing about it. Because well, Kevin knows my knee bar sweep, so I go for my knee bar sweep, and you're like, "Oh, that was pretty clever," and I was like, "Did you just call my fucking go-to move clever?" Like that was so uncool. You're like, "Oh, that was good. That was interesting. I'm gonna stop texting now, and I'm gonna roll with you." Okay.
James Braska said he
I
got
don't
uncomfortable.
remember that. It was must have been uneventful.
It was completely uneventful. It was like
It must
like
have not have been a blip on
analogous
my
to
radar.
throwing a brick in the Grand Canyon. You're like,
Yeah,
not a lot of
Robbie,
impact.
Robbie's probably one of my most unfavorite people to roll with when he's on. I always say this about you, like you're always at your best when you're like 240, 235. Like
Dude,
be-
I just am. That's me being fat.
yeah, dude,
That's
But
me
when-
not working out.
when you have that extra
But
weight
you're
behind
right.
you.
I do better in jiu-jitsu when I'm a fat fuck.
Yeah, you dude,
Like I do better on top. I don't know why.
you're just like fuck. You're like, and on your bottom, you have more leverage underneath you to fucking because your legs are they connect to your core so well. So when you roll
Right.
through,
I have a funny Robbie jiu-jitsu story. So I just want to put it out there that Robbie could kill me. Like when me and Robbie roll, like he taps me at least 3 times in a 5-minute round. You know what I mean? He just destroys me. But well, when I was training with Robbie a lot, he taught me he taught me. You taught me the what's that move called where you get someone in an ankle lock position, but their heel slips out and you
The Z lock.
the Z lock. Thank you.
Yeah.
You taught me the Z lock. And so we started rolling, and I caught him like 5 times in the Z lock. He started getting pissed because he had just shown it to me, and I was like, "Dude, this move is fucking great." I was so happy. I went home. I was like, "I got Robbie,"
And ever
and
since
then I've
then,
been
you and
paying
Robbie
for it
haven't
ever
talked.
since.
Yeah.
Robbie has like an evil mind when he rolls too. You get like a sick little fucking like thrill out of torturing people. I could just see it in your eye. You've got that like sociopathic kind of fucking like twinkle that goes on. You sure as fuck do, man. I hate it when you're like that 230, 240. Like you're just I'm just helpless. I can't do anything to it.
Yeah.
And then you always tell me, for some reason in your mind, you always get it down. I'm going to cut down to 205. I'm like, oh, that's awesome for me. Like, when you get 205, like, you just don't have the same girth to you. Like,
Bro,
I can hang with
when
you.
you're
you go like
205 and really tired, you're a fun roll.
that. Yeah, right.
But it's not even the size; it's his flexibility.
Yeah,
Oh, I
he's
know.
some-
I think I passed his guard the other day, not the other day, but it was like a few months ago. We rolled, and next thing I know, he's taking his foot, putting it up by his neck, and fucking sliding that fucker back down in there. And I just laughed. I was like, "How the fuck do you do that shit?" He just starts laughing at me.
Yeah, to me though, it doesn't feel flexible. It just feels normal. I'm not like stretching.
Right. It's nothing. Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Like,
it just goes
put my
there.
foot up. It just goes there. Yeah, it's just like,
Yeah.
well, why not do it? I can do it.
Yeah.
You have since I've been getting mobility in my hips and stuff like that from stretching. Like I have starting to notice that. Like it's just weird. Like before, when it was like I just got to get my leg all the way over there just to get it there. Like I'm moving it there with intent, and therefore I have like power and control to use it in that position.
Well, the thing is I've known really flexible guys that are horrible at jiu-jitsu. And it's because they're flexible, but they're not dexterous. They don't have the dexterity. So
right.
they can put their foot by their face,
but they can't use it.
They can't do anything with it.
Right.
So it doesn't matter.
Right.
I have the gift of dexterity.
Yeah,
that's just natural for me.
I've been getting there with that.
Which is crazy based on how big you are, because nobody that big.
You don't realize how big Robbie is until you get on. And you're like,
until you're in front of him, and all of a sudden you're looking at a fucking silverback, and you're like.
By the way, the clip of that audio clip with this is the gayest possible.
You don't know what it's like till it gets on you. Then it's like a
so big, and you get close to it, and we're
breathing. When Robbie back mounts you, that's terrible.
Do you see in these comments? First off, he scared my wife off, and Jared Rose.
I can't believe we still got
Robbie D'Onofrio will back mount
Where's
you,
Jared Rose
and he will
at?
grind out that submission.
Wow. I think even my mom cut off on that one. We even lost my mom. But let's talk.
By the way, Tony's grinder profile is T Francisco. So
wow. And on our group grinder profile is clearly what is it? Old man grappling hour.
What do you?
Wait,
real quick, Sonny.
Yes.
Black belts. And
yes, the time,
know.
right? So, what are your thoughts on that? Sorry, what do you want to say, Tony? Go ahead. You want to say something real quick?
I'm looking at Sonny, and I'm like,
just saying.
Yeah, I know. I look like a testicle.
Right. We've
already been through this.
Before we had to cut off, we had a whole fucking like 10-minute talk about the shape of Sonny's head. It's like we missed all that. The whole Dom on pissed at Dom thing didn't make that either. That's Anyway, we'll get to that later. All right. So yeah, what we were talking about, how black belts were, they used to talk about how black belts, it took 10, 12 years to get your black belt. And now guys are starting to get them in 7 or 8. And, the analogy I made was this, and I'm not saying it's wrong, but the analogy I made was that, I've been a black belt for 3 years, which would be 11 years total. And my knowledge of jiu-jitsu has grown so much over the last 3 years since I got my black belt, that maybe this is what really a black belt should be, and maybe we're giving our belts too early, which, and I was just thinking along those lines, but I also think that, if you're a black belt, you're a goddamn black belt. What do you think about that, Robbie?
I think a couple things. I think that you could essentially make a black belt, someone at black belt level, in 2 years. That's my opinion. But it's as long as you're training right. I think most people have an inflated idea of how good they are. And until you videotape your matches in the gym and go over them with a high level coach, you're not going to actually know where you stand.
Right.
And I think it's important to video your training sessions and then go over them with your students. And if you do that, they will constantly fix mistakes. And if you're constantly fixing mistakes, then you're going to advance much faster.
Right.
And I think you can get guys submitting black belts after 2 years if they're dedicated, they train a lot, and they do what you say, and they fix mistakes, because you can sit there doing it the same way over and over.
Oh no.
No. Shit.
We lose the sound.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
good
we
now.
can hear
We're
you
good
now.
Good.
You keep doing that over and over
So I
again.
think,
Is where you left.
I just keep doing what over and over again.
That's what you were saying.
You're good. You're good.
Yeah, you just keep you videotape. You get their student. You actually, as a coach, you got to actually want to create great grapplers. And then if you want that, you can't take shortcuts, and you can't let your students believe that they're better than they are. You know.
Yeah, I think
you got to go with what is real.
I agree with that, but I think that it's kind of a natural progression. You know, I think of a lot of times as mid blue belt to kind of mid purple belt, like 2-3 stripe blue belt to 2-3 stripe purple belt, as that groove where guys think they're better than they really are. Because when you're about a 3 stripe purple belt, you're starting to kind of really develop your game, and you're finding success with it, and you're submitting people. And if you are athletically gifted, you are probably catching a few brown belts. You know what I'm talking about? You're catching a few higher level belts because you have the athletic ability to get to those positions. But you're too arrogant to really understand that, like, jiu-jitsu is about more than just attacking. It's about understanding what your opponent is doing and allowing him to move, so that now I'm moving in the most efficient manners. And you follow what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
So,
And I think that a lot of the problems, and a lot of the reasons why people get held back or like get stagnant, is because they're not fixing the mistakes they make all the time.
yeah.
You know, I mean, like, if I'm tapping a purple belt over and over again, it's because he's making mistakes. So if I video that and I go over each mistake,
That's a good point,
and
man.
they purposefully fix those mistakes the next
Right.
time they roll,
Right, because
it'll
it's
be much better, much quicker.
it's weird, because I it's funny you say that, because like it's one of those things where like it's one of the hardest parts about coaching, because I can look at someone in the face and I could tell them something fucking over and over and over again and say, look, I'm telling you this works because it works. I've used it 100 fucking times. And unless they want to believe me, they're not going to. You follow what I'm talking about? And the way you make them believe is they kind of have to, you can put these things in their mind, you can push them in the right direction, but they have to kind of figure it out for themselves. And a lot of times it's because they're not seeing it directly. And the idea of filming it and now saying, hey, stupid, you really think you're doing it right? But check this out. Remember when I told you did this and this? Look at that. Imagine that.
Right.
You did this, this,
Right.
and this.
And
But then sometimes they still don't fucking get it.
Yeah, but it takes away their inflated view of it.
Right.
And if they still don't get it, it's their ego getting in their own way. So when I say I think someone can make it to black belt in 2 years,
Right.
I'm talking about a guy who's
The perfect combination.
Yeah, you know,
Right.
those guys can. I got a guy that's like that.
Yeah.
That's a blue belt who's tapping my black belts.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's because I'm very close with him. Me and him train constantly every morning. We videotape the matches. I say, don't do this anymore. He doesn't do it anymore. You know, do this more. He does that more. And then, you know, it's amazing to see the
And I think
progression.
the key thing that you said there is that he trains with you every morning. So he's training with a high level guy, but I'm also sure that you're probably letting him work in some areas, and sometimes you're smashing, going for it. Sometimes you're letting him play, right?
Well, yeah.
Can we talk about the other
specifically when
side though?
play-
I feel like we're missing a big chunk. So the question is, how old is he? How much does he weigh?
The guy I'm training with, the guy I'm talking about is Javier. He's 27. And
Oh,
he,
he's good too.
and he weighs about, I don't know, 170 pounds, maybe 180.
I hate him. I hate him. No. So here's the reason why I say this is because I have found as I get older, a distinct advantage with the younger guys, a distinct advantage. They're stronger, they're faster, they have no gas tank limitations.
Right.
And that same exact feeling of, oh, this is just, it takes a lot longer to get there, is the same feeling when I was younger and went against a bigger guy. But now I've got the younger guys and the bigger guys,
Right.
and I'm just like, this is brutal. And so I'm trying
Yeah.
to figure out, how do you feel about that? Is that disadvantage of age real, or is that in the mindset, or is the advantage of size and youth substantially there? You just have to exploit them with enough training.
Well,
I'll go
here's
ahead
what
and
I think
answer
about
since I'm
that.
the oldest person here. I'm
By
40.
2 days, dude. You're like you're like a month older than me.
I'm 47 years old, and this is what I have to say. One of my most athletic students, Kyle Koziel, he's also my amateur MMA fighter. When I roll with him, he puts on a pace that I cannot keep up with. So what I have to do is I have to use my technique. I have to use the fact that I have a 12-year advantage, over his 4 years of jujitsu, and really think out of the box and find ways of tangling him up so that I can keep him busy. But the bottom line is, if it's mano y mano, I mean, he's just going to run me over. He's got the cardio to do it, and the strength and
But then remove one of those, like remove the let's say the size, and there's an intermediate. Look at Joey Lugo. None of us here are going to say Joey Lugo. I mean, that guy is fast, and it just keeps going and going. He's got the strength, but you got the size, but that technique and that strength. I mean, even though you have the 40-pound advantage, it's overwhelming. Like it makes me mad. And then you got like, Matt Allison, who I outweigh by 80 pounds, and I can't stop the guy. Like, it just keeps coming and coming. Then you go to the other extreme, Kyle Reddick, Kevin, I mean, that guy, he is a monster, one of the nicest people you ever meet in your life. But wow, I mean, the size of it is ridiculous. So I'm just trying to figure out, and I'm going back.
Well, the other thing that I do is I put myself in bad positions constantly. You know what I mean? So that I have to, like, A, I can figure out counters, and B, I can, continue to get better at defense, because the older I get, the more I'm going to be defending. You know what I'm saying? It's just that's the bottom line.
Well, I don't know if you guys have ever heard this, but go ahead.
The thing I think about is this, when I talk about like what the perfect student entails, like the things that I think make what great athletes great. And it's like the athleticism. If you got athleticism, you're awesome. If you're coachable, if you listen to me, if you pay attention, is you do the things I tell you because you look at me as a person from person of expertise in the area, then we're awesome. And then the last one is discipline. And I see a lot of people with the first two, the athleticism and the coachability, or one of those two. The discipline is the one that doesn't always carry over. And when I talk about discipline, I talk about like, cool, man, you want to do this thing, you want to be in the UFC, you want to be a professional, whatever, you want to get your black belt, you want to keep going along. Okay, we need you here twice a week. We need you 3 times a week, honestly, if you really want to get to that good. Now, it doesn't matter if along that road you get a job promotion, or you get a girlfriend, or you want to go out and party. Are you going to continue doing this and have that discipline and that desire to take it to the next level, to really use the things I'm teaching you? Then you're going to get there. But they got to be athletic. Maybe they got to be coachable. And honestly, I'll take coachable over athletic, to tell you the truth. But let's have the discipline to be there.
Okay, so now you just opened up another interesting break. You got a 42 to 44-year-old guy that comes in, extremely coachable.
Guys, I gotta take off. I'm gonna eat food.
Hey, Robbie,
Okay.
best gay
See you,
podcast ever with you, brother. Glad you're on.
Oh yeah, man.
See you, man.
So by the way, where's Jared Rose? Where's Jeff Hotelling? I know he's watching right now. And if my wife comes on with no shirt on, the whole thing. So so my question is, you got a 42 to 44-year-old guy that jumps in, extremely coachable, they're disciplined, and they understand the concept of what's needed. but you've lost the athleticism component, and that's going to be dwindling very quickly. So Sonny, if we kind of fast forward you into starting at 42 to 44-year-old age, what are your thoughts there?
Well, because I was morbidly obese when I started at the age of 34, I feel like I basically had the same disadvantage. You know what I'm saying? So I might as well have had 10 more years on me because of how fat I was. So, you know, and basically my approach to learning jujitsu was just, I remember that because I was a big guy, you know, I mean, extremely overweight. They put me with this guy named Bruno, my first class. And Bruno has me mount him and he says, okay, go. And I look at him and I said, go where? And that's when he's like, okay, we'll do this. And he taught me an Americana. And I think that's when they realized that I wasn't there to try to prove anything. Like I was just there to like learn, you know, and I never tried to act like I was, you know, some Billy Badass or whatever when I went to class, and I just took it all in. And, you know,
But you were coachable. I mean, at the end of the day, you were coachable.
Oh,
so,
yeah. In fact, you know, I've come up with very little in jiu-jitsu. Most of the shit that I do, I've learned from other people. Yeah, I've come up with a few things, but I'm not one of these guys that like sits around like coming up with moves, you know, inventing shit.
I remember like, what was it, like 6-7 years ago, I was in Arroyo's pool. You were so much bigger. You were the nicest person ever.
I know. I miss Fat Sonny. How nice was Fat Sonny? Fat Sonny was so cool. No, like angry Facebook posts, everything.
You were like,
hey,
you were like a one stripe purple belt,
so
whatever.
Here.
Yeah, and I was asking you all these questions, and you're like, hey, I understand. I remember those days. I remember, and you were like, so not. And I was like, I want to be that nice when I. And now you're just like, fuck all of you.
So I gotta say, it's Rob Kahn's influence.
Oh,
I have one answer to the question you're asking. Maybe it's gonna kind of help you out as far as like, I think what you're trying to ask is, what are the advantages really to that younger athletic 27-year-old, and why are they more prone to advancing quicker in the art? I think that's kind of what you're trying. It doesn't make a difference for an adult.
Well, I'm actually under the I am understanding that already. I am asking the question coming in after that. Are you kind of at a sorry, you can only go so far, and there's really no hope for you?
No, fuck that, man.
Well, I know that. I'm just trying from the audience perspective. But also with the understanding that it is increasingly more difficult as we go further into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and B, as you get older, and you've got more people, which make it more difficult. Even if you're one of those people in that youth group, right behind you, it's making. Well,
I think that the biggest problem is, or the biggest attribute to that young age and that athleticism is the fact that you gain confidence quicker. Because if you take two people that are starting day one, you know, you got a white belt here and white belt there, and this guy was a fucking, you know, is an amazing stud athlete that's 25 years old, and this dude is some dude that sat behind a computer and is 32 now. You know, he's never done anything in his life. Obviously, this guy is going to do a whole lot better when they snap and they go day one, and it's going to continue upon that trajectory for a long, long time. So the kid is going to be more confident because he's going to be dominating. He's going to be winning more positions. He's going to be winning more exchanges. Like older belts are still going to kind of get the best of them, but not all the time. You know, that athleticism is really high. Now, if you add in the coachable to that, they start to really bring on the idea of technique, and they don't allow the fact of thinking, okay, I'm this super stud, so I'm going to keep doing all this shit, even though it's wrong, but it's working. You know, if you can bring them in and say, hey, look, like you're doing that, it's great. It's just not right. Do what I tell you to do. And now you're not going to be able to just do it against the white belts. You're going to be able to do it against the blue belts and the brown belts and the purple belts, right? If they continue along that course, they're going to get better quicker simply because their arc of confidence of being to be able to the more dominant athlete is going to carry over for them.
That's it. You're hitting it right there, which is that arc, their confidence and their ability to learn those moves. As I get older, I got to be honest with you, I'm handicapped. I just can't learn. I have one move, man. I have one move, and it's a nasty move. And Kevin tells everyone, here's what Tony's gonna do, and then they get caught. But the reason I do that is because I can't be, not even, I'm at the low end of mediocre along the way, and I need one thing that I can stand out, and then I got to move to the next one. And that's kind of what Rob Kahn says: learn one move, do it really good, then learn setup moves. But I got to be honest with you, I'm struggling with this new generation and these kids, and they're younger, or am I just getting older and I don't have the cardio? They're learning so fast, so many moves. And so what do? I have one move. I catch every single person in, and that's great, but it's not going to last. So I'm just trying to figure out.
You'll get better at that. I mean,
that's what happens. You'll evolve.
That's what happens. You fall into that kind of category I talked about with Robbie, that like 3-4 stripe blue belt to like 3-4 stripe purple belt, where like, and it's
hit it.
When you've been doing this is like, and again, as black belts, like we've gone through all this shit. We know what it's all about. So when you start to get to be about a 3-stripe blue belt, you start to get confident because you're catching people. You're doing pretty good and you're doing all right, but you're not catching like bigger belts. And the reason why you're not catching bigger belts is because you're not focusing on how allowing things to develop. You're not thinking about what my opponent's strategy is against me, and you're not playing that game to kind of set decoys and think intuitively. But anyway, whatever.
The two biggest jumps I've made in my jiu-jitsu game have come. One came when I lost the weight. Because like I said, I was obese until about purple belt. And then I just kind of decided one day that I was just going to start training every single day. And every single session that I train, I'm going to do a minimum of 30 minutes. And I don't care who I roll with. I don't care who taps me out. I don't give a shit. I'm going to just roll for a minimum of 30 minutes until and usually it was more. It was like more like 40 to 50 minutes.
So and you learned a lot from that.
Right. And because I
remember that was when the pounds were just flying off of you. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
That doesn't make. I asked you, I said, did you get your stomach stapled? I was like,
the side effect of losing the weight was my jiu-jitsu got better.
Right.
Because I lost the weight by doing jiu-jitsu. And the next thing I know, I specifically remember this. I passed the guard of Roberto Figueroa from North.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So I passed his guard, and this motherfucker benched me off of him. Right? That's how I knew I lost weight. Because I was 280, and I rolled with him. I was 240, and he threw me off of him.
Yeah, but you
and then I was like, and I literally said to myself, I have to relearn jiu-jitsu now. And that's what I did. I basically went back to the drawing board. And I pretended like I was a white belt again. And I just started rolling with everybody, getting my ass kicked by everybody, and just putting myself out there, putting myself in dangerous positions, just doing it all. And through that, I lost the weight and got better.
When did you do that? Like, what belt were you?
Purple.
Okay. So as Kevin said, I hurt my wrist, and I can't do Ezekiel anymore. And he goes, you have to learn jiu-jitsu now. And I'm like,
yeah, right. That's funny. Now you have to learn jiu-jitsu.
It made me so mad because it's true.
Well, then Ezekiel will always be there. You'll be able to do jiu-jitsu too. Like, so like when you're you don't have to get right to the fucking Ezekiel anymore. You'll be able to like but that's like the thing about you too. Like when I notice a lot of big guys like yourself that lose a lot of weight, is that they still stay strong. Like they still have that big, like, because you can roll with a big guy, like they're strong. Their body, their muscles are strong because they got to carry all that goddamn weight around. Like they build a big fucking strong frame. Like when I roll with you, man, I can still feel that damn, like that big fucking frame.
I think that's the retard strength personally. But so just to finish my story, the second biggest jump I think I had in my game was after I got my black belt. Certainly the last 6 months of brown, and then the first couple of years at black, I've learned so much, and I think I've made a significant jump in my game since I got my black belt.
And what do you think that's from? Is that just from, I have a responsibility I have to live up to, and I better start polishing these little.
I don't know if it was so much that as it was, I'm running a school. I got to teach jiu-jitsu to everybody. Like when you're teaching jujitsu, you have to remember you got to be teaching it to people that aren't flexible. You got to teach it to people that are fat. You got to teach it to people that are old, people that are young.
Right.
So
Teaching's huge.
yeah. So when you teach, and you literally have to go around the room and modify moves for each person individually sometimes because of their body type, you start to learn a lot more about what you're doing. So I think teaching has helped me greatly understand what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah, I think
You
that
know?
I think that teaching was probably the biggest thing that helped me in my jiu-jitsu career, is starting to teach. It just helps you really, like, when you can really break something down in your mind and explain it to someone,
Well,
you in turn understand how the components of those things work. And it's
Kevin, you saw me with my
cool.
kids, man. I say
Yeah.
if you can't explain it, you don't
Right.
understand it.
Right.
But once you understand something, you can control it or manipulate it. Once you
Right.
understand the mechanics of it, the
Right.
anatomy of it, you
Then
understand.
you can start making it work to your advantage.
Exactly.
And you know what's cool too is a lot of times my students will come up to me and be like, "Yo, coach, check this out. I did this," and it'll be some shit I've never seen. I'll be like, "Well, that's fucking cool, man.
Yeah, right.
Show me that shit."
And that's funny.
You know?
It's true too, because like as instructors, like I want to say this one thing, and I'll get back to that. So like the second thing I feel like has opened my eyes up and was the biggest point of growth in my jiu-jitsu was getting my black belt. And the reason is because there's an odd feeling of freedom when you get your black belt, because previously every other thing you were doing was done with the intent of getting to that next milestone. So when you're a blue belt, the only thing you're thinking about is what can I do to get my purple belt? When you're a purple belt, all you think about is what can I do to get my brown belt? What can I do to get my black belt when you're a brown belt? The same. So you have that being
no fucking lie.
Yeah,
Like,
you have-
Let me
yeah.
just pause you for
Yeah,
1 second because when I got my brown belt, I competed like a motherfucker. You know me, bro.
Yeah, right.
I don't compete.
But everybody, because they want their black belt. That's all
Right.
they do. They want.
I was
their
like, I
black
want
belt.
my black belt, so I'm going to get out there, bro. I'm going
So-
to get that shit.
When you get your black belt and there's no other belts to rise to, like you begin to do jiu-jitsu just because of like a love of the sport. And it's a weird freeing understanding, because there's no more there's no more stress, there's no more anxiety about, am I doing this right, am I doing the right thing? No, because there is no right, there is no wrong. You just want jiu-jitsu to get better. You want to be more part of jiu-jitsu. Therefore your ideas of how to think about techniques and how to decipher things, they're not as concerned about right or wrong. They're just concerned about, let's just examine this because we want to. That's what I felt about it.
Well,
So
here-
then, when you start to teach and you add that element into it after the teaching, you can see how the two go hand in hand.
So my question to you then is, because you've got this freedom of achieving something, that you're kind of at the end, so now you have to do it in a little more free fashion. Balancing that out, isn't there kind of the threat of you're now a black belt? It's analogous to when you first got your blue belt and all your white belt buddies, they all want to kill
Let
you.
me tell you
you know?
something, bro. If I cried every time I got tapped out by one of my students, I would be
Fucking,
I'd
we didn't get the fucking me pissed off at Creepy Don shit on fucking
like, dude, I wouldn't have.
I listened to that earlier. That made me laugh.
Did you hear
I
it?
could feel
was
buckets
beautiful.
of.
It was beautiful. What wasn't here? Wasn't on the chin.
You heard
Like,
that? Did we get that on the second show?
Yeah,
Did
it
that
must
come
have been
on?
on
There
the
was
second
cool
one.
because that's cool. Good.
That was beautiful. You were just so
Fucking
bitter
Don.
about it.
Yeah, it's so funny.
I should have asked the other black belts in the house what they.
What
fucking thought
was
about
it? What was I just
Go ahead.
saying?
I don't remember. I'm
No,
sorry.
you're saying if you cried with everyone that one of your students.
Oh
tapped you
yeah,
out, you
bro.
gotta
It's
leave
like
that.
get fucked.
No, and that's
Especially after the lockdown, like I wasn't doing shit. I'm not lying, bro. I'm sitting in my house every fucking day smoking ton of weed. Like I'm just like I'm like watching my business tank. I'm just like fucking. I'm miserable, right? So we finally get around to training again. I go back in there and fucking Creepy Dom, he catches me like 2 or 3 times in a rear naked choke. I was like, that's how bad my cardio was. Literally the next day I went fucking jogging. I was like, that motherfucker is never catching me again. I'm going to fucking kill him the next time I roll with him. And that is that. Fucking A, man. Fucking, I jogged around the block, man. Went back the next day. I whooped his ass. That was it.
I'm fucking
It's like that story when Battle choked out Rob Khan. You remember that? He choked out Ralph Conner. He choked him out. And then,
Was he exiled forever to the fucking?
Well, no, he choked him out, and then he's like, "Raw, oh," and then he laid him down, and then he walked across the mat and just sat there with his back. And I was like, dude, I would have left. Moved. Like, you have to just sell your shit, and don't even sell your shit. Just be like, it's abandoned. Like, you have to donate it. Like, but he's like,
I don't even want to talk about that. I don't even want him to know that I'm acknowledging that
it wasn't me. It wasn't me. We were rolling. It was a great roll. And then some other guy that came in.
You're a fucking asshole. Fake news. Get out of here. What are you fucking? What do you work for BuzzFeed?
Oh, that's funny.
So, what do you guys want to talk about the world for a little bit, or are we having too much fun doing this?
Well, yeah. I just want to end by saying, like, don't think, guys, that once you get your black belt, it's some kind of magic fucking pill that means you get to tap out everybody that you roll with who's under like a lower belt than you. That's not how it works. This is not how it works.
This is the silver fox.
That's the silver fox. Is that what you wrote to me? The silver fox! Exclamation point. And I look at it and I'm like, okay. And then I just kept talking to him. I go, what the fuck you were talking about? He was going nuts one day because we had Silver Fox on, and Silver Fox started going down this like really dark path.
He was a little, a few scotches in him.
And the next thing you know, like Kevin's like flipping. I don't even notice it, by the way, because I'm just like in the zone. I'm listening to what Silver Fox is saying. And all of a sudden, I see like frantic scribbling happening on the notepad. And he holds up the notepad to me and showed it to me. And all it said was Silver Fox! Exclamation point. And I was like, I didn't know what to do with that. So I just went back to talking to Silver Fox. It was so fucking hilarious.
Oh, man.
Yeah, real quick, which goes into one of the times I remember Kevin and I were about to roll. And we slap, and he goes, I'm really fucking high right now. And I was like, okay, I really don't think there's a lot of probability that I'm going to hurt you. So I would ask kindly that you understand that there's a high probability that you could hurt me.
You're a little bit worried, huh? Well, I don't know. Should I be worried?
Like, are you telling me that I should tap like a few seconds before the actual tap occurs? I mean, yeah, that's funny. So the world. Let me give you a quick summary of what's going on. So last Thursday, I went in with the Arroyos and Kelly, and we went. Matt got at 7:50 a.m. They opened at 8. Got in line. Kelly was there. Then they called me because I was working, and they called me, and I got there probably like 10 minutes before we got called in. That was at 12:20.
Where?
At the clinic, the walk-in clinic to get the test, the COVID test, just to make sure because of Billy Q and all that fun stuff. Right?
Did you get your results back yet or what?
Well, we'll get to that in just a moment. So they said, "Hey,
is that really why you're shirtless? Is that like a COVID thing?"
Yeah, exactly. Why are you shirtless?
We're shirtless. We're shirtless, and we're not shirtless, by the way. We're completely naked, and it's for COVID awareness.
COVID awareness.
We're trying to raise. We're trying to raise awareness for something that nobody could possibly not know about.
Yeah,
there's so many double negatives in there. I'm trying to figure it out. That's funny. So
up on our fucking.
So here's what happened. So Kelly and I, so Matt and they got exposed sooner as they got the test. Kelly and I were exposed like a day later, so we couldn't go. They said it was too soon for us, so we had to wait a day. But I said, hey, listen, you guys actually treated me in February for COVID. When I got back from Mardi Gras, I caught it, pneumonia and everything, and I never get sick. And then and the doctor absolutely remembered. He's like, I remember you. The front desk people remembered me.
You had COVID?
Well, that they didn't have tests back then, so I never get sick, and I get something nasty from Mardi Gras, which is an outbreak center, and then I get pneumonia, and they're like,
"Oh yeah, that's right, your antibodies came out."
Yeah, and yeah, my antibodies kicked back because I took an
your antibodies came back positive.
Negative.
No, negative. Well, we'll get to that in just a minute. So I took an immunity suppressant. It kills your immune system for 8 hours to get rid of a stupid wart from jiu-jitsu. Right when I got back, right when I got back from Mardi Gras, not a wise idea. And my body was all messed up, but then they gave me the antibiotics. Boom, I got over it right away. Never had pneumonia, strep, anything, and that thing knocked me down. The point is, they didn't have a test. Then they said, you can't take the test because it's too soon. You should take the antibody test. I said, sure, no problem. I came back at 1:30. They took blood, got the results on Friday afternoon. And they said the test came back negative. And I said, negative? Really? And they said, yeah. We look for, I think, the PRD and the PRD and the PID. The PID is the one that lasts the longest. I said, well, that was in February, so I heard it lasts only 40 days. And they said, no, it lasts indefinitely. And I said, quote, you're telling me if I had COVID-19 2 years ago that you could tell me I had it? And she said, yes. And I said, you have lost all credibility at this point. Like, that is impossible. That is absolutely impossible. That the point is that, and I also said, so you're telling me if I had a certain strain of flu 10 years ago, you could test for the same thing, and you tell me if I had that strain of flu 10, 20, 30 years ago because it's indefinite. And she says, I believe so. Absolutely impossible. Just from a sheer physics.
I don't get
the
that.
point is that no one understands what's going on. Okay, that's the first point. And the second thing is, here's the rub. Kelly had to go back on Saturday to get tested. They did hundreds of tests on Thursday and Friday. She gets in line and they said, sorry, we can only do 25 a day to try to keep it in, because it was too busy. And she said, 25 a day? 25 a day. The line went all the way around the corner.
Yeah,
What was the? Because I've heard there's a couple
this
different.
is the fast test. This is the fast.
So wait, is this
No.
the swab up the nose or is
Yes,
this the
yeah,
blood
no.
test?
This is the fast test. Yes, this is the fastest, but this is the one you pay for, not the one you go get free at the arena, which you have to make an appointment for. The point is, she said 25 a day makes absolutely no sense. Then, and she says, I'm not into conspiracy theories, but that is just, it's too abstract. You can't go from hundreds to 25. Then you start hearing about the current administration saying we're going to start limiting the tests. And that's exactly what happened. Can't have a lot of, deaths if there aren't a lot of COVID deaths, if there aren't a lot of COVID positives. You can't have a lot of COVID positives if there aren't a lot of COVID tests. 25 a day is absolutely ridiculous, which goes back to the point of where I got tested for antibodies and they gave me a bullshit answer that you can test 20 years from now and see if you had COVID-19, which is absolutely bullshit. The whole thing right now is bullshit.
Nobody knows shit about fuck when it comes to this virus.
Bingo. But hold on. So Kevin and I got into a conversation, and because you have, let's just call it different perspectives. You have the one perspective of it's all bullshit. We're all going to get it, yada, yada, yada. I agree with you. Okay. You have another perspective of this is deadly shit. It's a global pandemic and people are going to die. Millions of people are going to die. I agree with you. The problem is we're all talking about the same thing. And if us right here, this audience that we're looking at is we're all in our 70s and 80s and 90s, yeah, we're going to be paranoid. Absolutely, we're going to be telling everyone. Huh?
We're not though, and so
that's the problem.
This is where I'm fucking at right now. It is what it is because this is
where you're at right now. Is you're naked in a chair next to another naked man
on vacation. Like we've hit a point. We've hit a point where this is unfortunately what we have to deal with now because everything's open again. Like this shit's everywhere. The idea of even social distancing, or I guess you keep up to whatever limited social distancing that they have going on, but the idea of quarantining yourselves is just silly now. Like so many people have this goddamn disease. I think the initial numbers of deaths versus cases have gone a little bit lower, but they're going to stay pretty constant. So in that mindset, a lot of people are going to end up catching COVID, and the idea of deaths per, and I think it's way lower than what they initially projected. And I don't blame the medical community. They were just trying to be safe because they didn't really know what the fuck was going on. But people are going to get sick. Most people are going to have the flu. They're going to have some achy body symptoms. They're going to feel like shit. And then some people that are immune compromised are going to die. And then some people are going to go to the hospital. But I think the majority of people that are going to be truly life threatened by this is going to stay pretty low.
Can I also add something? And this is just anecdotal, but it's true. I was talking to a friend of mine who's a doctor. One of my students is the doctor. And she was telling me she just had 2 patients recover from COVID who are over 80. And one of them had underlying conditions.
Yeah,
And-
but that's
and
those are still those are good stories.
those are
Fuck
great.
you! I stayed at a Holiday Inn, so let me tell. I'm just kidding.
but those I think
I'm
those
not
are
sa-
exceptions, not the standard.
Yeah, of course. I'm not
Agreed.
saying I'm not trying to say anything about the statistics. All I'm saying is I don't want anybody, whether they're old or not. I don't want you to get COVID positive and then think it's a fucking death sentence.
Right.
Like it's not for everybody. You know what I mean? For some people, and we don't know why, but some people, even young people, have died from this. We don't know what's the
there's not-
fucking ingredient.
Yeah, that's
You know what I mean?
that's the
What's that
biggest problem.
secret ingredient that makes you die from this shit?
And again, I am betting on, because again, this is a narrative that my governor has forced us to take, is that it's not as bad and it's not going to be as bad for us to deal with, and that eventually the numbers are going to stay consistent and the number of people that are in the hospital are going to be low. We may have issues with ICU beds. We may have issues with people not having, not being able to have a place, and there'll be people
We're
that
currently
die.
at 75%
Right.
ICU utilization in this area.
I still believe that me, you, my gay partner over here, and you, or if we get it, we're going to get the flu.
I just want to point out this is the highest numbers we've had during a
And
live.
We've had
Right,
amazing.
right,
I've been
right.
watching like you see it was like
That's
20s and yeah.
We got to do every show shirtless.
I'm not saying there's a correlation, but
People are like tuning in, like, what the fuck are these guys
is
doing?
going on?
It's funny, isn't it funny how the news cycle changes, and our fucking emergency feeds are shifting from one to the next. Like it went from COVID
To George
fucking-
Floyd.
to George Floyd. Now we're back on COVID again. It's like I mean, I hate to say we're being played, but goddamn, it's so crazy sometimes, man. They're still protesting out there? Aren't they still like?
Well,
Aren't they
it's
trying to
not
set
just
up
that.
another free zone in
because
DC?
after George Floyd, there was Rashad Brooks, but that's a controversial shooting
Right.
because for a lot of reasons. I don't want to get into that, but so it's. I think they're protesting both, and I think that Rashad Brooks thing just kind of
Man.
kept it all going.
Dude, I'll just tell you,
know?
like it's like fixing the police department is putting a band-aid on the
Systemic
actual
issues.
fucking the systemic issues. Like it's if you want to go watch that goddamn 13 on Netflix to really like it's from so you had slaves that came over for a country. It wasn't their fault. And I'm not even blaming the goddamn white guys that bought them, because slavery was fucking legal then. That's just what fucking happened. Their slavery has been going on for a long fucking time. And it was a horrible injustice and it was bad. Okay. And that's the way it went. So when we abolished slavery, it's not like you took these guys and said, hey, we're going to educate you. We're going to give you jobs. We're going to put you. They just said, okay, you're free now. Go on about your lives. They had no choices, and a lot of them were fucking pissed off. They were slaves for fucking 20 fucking years.
you have nothing. Well, and that
So-
took 2 years after that to.
So what happened is the Southerners are still in town saying, look, we got to protect ourselves. We let these fucking slaves go. They're bitter as fuck, and then they're uneducated. They don't understand how to make fucking their way. And like, we're only fucking 3 generations away from that. It's
No
not
one
like it was
understands that.
fucking. No one
Three-
understands that, man.
It's 3 people ago.
So right. so like that fucking that communal fucking like caustic pit of uneducation, no money, no means of survival, horrible family units. You know what I mean?
Get over
Slaves-
it. Get over
right.
it. So-
But you don't understand that shit just doesn't go away. It carries
doesn't.
over and carries over. And
Generations.
now, because they're committing crimes and they're doing horrible things, the police are fucking picking on them, and they're like, "Fuck you, man! I'm sick of being picked on." Like I don't know what the fucking answer is either, man. I really don't, man. I just don't.
it really comes down to 2 things. You've got because you're hitting on it. You've got one side is the education and the care of the people that are committing the crimes, and then you've got the education and the care of the people that are taking care that are handling the crimes being committed. And you've got better jiu-jitsu training for less less hostile engagement, okay, less use of lethal force, okay, but you also have to education, mental illness awareness, and stop maybe subsidizing tax shelters for people that don't need it. It'd be better if you use those same exact revenues to handle mental illness problems. I would challenge that that's going to put a big dent into crime, in combination with education.
Well, one of the problems I see with this whole defund the police movement is that,
and I don't see, you can't say that. No, that's you know what that is. Every time I hear defund the police and somebody bring that up, no offense, it's fuck global warming. Look at how cold it is. Where's the global warming now? It's climate change. And defund the police should be, if you're going to use that term, defund the police departments with a massive high crime rate, maybe the top 1% of, or a massive problems that are systemic problems that are clearly issues. The Minnesota
all right.
PD
Well,
Minnesota,
you hit them in their wallet, but does that fix the problem?
Yeah,
or does
but
that make it worse?
let me counter your
Makes it
point.
worse.
because
agree. It's going to be a rebuild. It should be not
here's the
defund. It should
thing.
be a rebuild.
Almost everybody unanimously says that they want better trained police.
Yeah.
Okay. Almost everybody unanimously says that.
Mhm.
You cannot get better trained police by taking money away from the
not
police
at all.
department.
Agreed.
That's the fucking
You have to
paradox.
put money into the police
That's the
departments
paradox.
so that they can. And the other thing is, and I just want to say this on the Rashad Brooks shooting.
By the way,
If
I
those-
have an opinion of that. I want to talk to you about that because
If those two fucking cops knew how to fight, if they knew fucking jujitsu, if they're even at the blue belt level of jujitsu, there's no way that a fat drunk guy would have gotten away from the both of them and
Hey,
been
did you
able
see
to
that?
disarm them.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was.
Are you fucking kidding me?
That's the constant.
Bro.
That's the
Which
and then
goes
you
into the
don't- you
training
see that
portion.
over and over and
Yeah.
over again. And
so let's talk about that real quick though, because
we had Freddie Trillo on the other day, and just to
Oh.
talk about that, Freddie Trillo from we had him on the Jiu-Jitsu Times, and we talked about the whole thing, and he said that like there are teenagers that are blue belts and purple belts at my gym that would have done a better job
Yeah,
for
Absolutely,
scanning that
100%.
man than those two grown men did.
I would have restrained
talk
that guy
about
in
that.
less than 30 seconds.
I mean, there's so many like Jocko Willis or Wilco, whatever his name is, was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he had the best. He trains fucking Navy SEALs. He knows what it's all about to train the psychological mind, and he put it better than anybody else. They should be training 20% of their week. 20% of the week should be spent on combative training, de-escalation training, ground-to-ground combat, jiu-jitsu classes, things like that are going to make them more prepared for their daily life. Because like when you're a cop, this is exactly what we put it. I thought this was the best analogy I heard so far. When you're a cop, like 98% of the time when you go to a call, it's going to be cool because people see you as a police officer, as a member of society, and they tell you, okay, cool. Like, oh shit, I don't want to go to jail. The cops are here. I'm going to do what they fucking say. But the problem is that 2% of the time it escalates. And if you're only prepared for a 2% escalation rate out of 100%, you're not fucking prepared. If you only have to get into a physical altercation once every fucking 3 months, and you're not trained for it, you're going to fucking spike. You're going to lose your mind, and you're going to pull your gun, and you're going to do something fucking stupid.
most police departments have a DT section that's about 2 weeks long, if that.
Yeah, it's
They
ridiculous.
train DT maybe once a year,
It's
if
stupid.
that.
It's stupid.
And it's
Can
fucking
we
insane.
talk about let's talk about the actual event though, because what happened is, and I'll be the first one to admit, I jumped in, and the very first thing I said, cops were wrong, shouldn't have shot him. Very first thing. Remember, you don't judge a book by some random chapter you jump in on. You have to know what's going on. And guess what? First thing I said was they were wrong. Then I noticed he fired that back. That is lethal. I don't care what anyone says. If you've ever been shot with I mean, I haven't. It's not a pleasant thing. That goes in your eye. I mean, you could die. Okay, you could die. I mean, it's meant to penetrate leather with a barb and stay inside you as it administers current. So, okay, not a problem. Then it went a little further. And at the end, you hear it about them not applying any type of medical assistance. You saw him kick the guy.
So it's a fucking
Because
but-
now that goes into the beginning. What was their intent from the beginning? Because the end clearly
Right.
defines that the
But-
middle part is just the process of getting from the beginning to the end.
if you watch the entirety of it, it does suck because I understand what you're saying. And there will be some lawyer that will
It's going to go
Prove-
either way.
that will try to prove the fact that this cop had ill intent.
Yep.
I really don't think he did. I think he was in a shit mood. I think the kick after was bad,
But that's
And-
it.
but-
You nailed it. He was in a shit mood, which goes back to the original point that
But
we were all talking
It
about.
goes back to the idea that these guys are not trained to separate their emotion from the
That's it.
job. And it's because they don't train on a daily basis. They're not in
That's
there understanding how to do these things. They're not focusing over and over and over again. They don't have the wherewithal, because when you go into that fight or flight mode, you're in your lizard brain, baby. There's no deep thought. It's the truth. It's the truth. The
No,
cortex,
he's right. You
the
default to
cortex
your,
and the limbic system.
you default back to your
Yes.
gross motor skill set, man.
And the only way to conquer that is to train that out of your system over
Train
and
it
over
out.
again, man.
You can
Oh,
change the way you
yeah,
act,
bro.
but
No,
it's
I
very
agree
difficult
with
to
you,
change the way you
So
react.
I watched that too, and I watched the guy shoot him, and so I thought at first, you're right. I was like, oh, he shouldn't have shot that guy. And there's a part of me still thinks he shouldn't have shot the guy. But I will tell you this: there's a
But-
video. I saw a video. It's on Facebook. Everyone's fucking seen it. Same exact scenario. Two police officers try to apprehend someone. The fucking the criminal gets a hold of one of their tasers,
Mhm.
tases both the guys, gets a gun and kills them both.
Interesting.
So
Well,
like,
like I said, I like as soon as I saw that hit shot, it is lethal at that point, or you're jeopardizing. And I agree.
But-
I agree with that. So I
but
went.
the real
I went,
problem is this. Go ahead. We can keep talking about that, but the real problem is this. The real problem is why is that person in a position now where he feels like he has to flee from the police over
Which-
a goddamn DUI, which is because he's been in jail 3 times, probably because he didn't have an education. You know, talking about he was forced
Well, he's
into
fleeing,
a
he's drunk.
Right.
He's not thinking right.
but he was already on the books for a long time. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, so he's like, fuck, I ain't going back to prison, so I'm running, causes escalation, gets shot. You follow me? And that's the real problem.
And then pulling the guy, pulling him out and be like, hey, they could have been like, listen, you weren't driving. The first thing they should ask, first thing that should be answered is, were the keys in the ignition? If the keys were in the ignition, then guess what? He goes to jail. Period. That's just the way it works. If the keys are not in the ignition,
Yeah, I mean,
how do they know how he got there? There's no reason for them to intervene other than, hey,
Well, he
listen, you
was
can't be sleeping in a public
drunk and
parking lot.
disorderly. He was asleep in a parking lot in the middle of the.
Yeah,
in
and
the
then
middle of
he
the-
says, hey,
in
I've
the
been
middle of the
drinking.
road.
I had someone drop me off, and I don't feel comfortable driving. They say, let's get you someone. They're going to do something,
Yeah,
but they're not going to say.
It
"Sleep
looked like the
outside."
car. It looked like the car was probably running. I mean, he was
Well,
in line in the drive.
That's what they should answer, though, because it answers a lot of the prequel questions as you jump into and put the chapters together. But anyway, I'm fascinated how people just jump into it and they don't understand the facts, and it really,
Yeah.
it's a lot deeper than just the cops are
Yeah.
wrong, defund all the police.
I gotta get going. I love you.
All right, looks like we're ending the Naked
gayest-
podcast.
The gayest podcast of the week,
Ever.
folks.
And a really popular one.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
man, we should go shirtless more often.
Yeah.
Pantless, actually.
I don't
Completely.
know.
We are naked.
Maybe we'll do something like this for the next one.
Creepy Dom, I'm coming for you, fucking prick.
Jared Rose wanted to come on, by the way, so he couldn't. He was on the middle of a call.
Would
So,
have been fun.
And Jeff Hoteling.
Oh, we forgot to do
Sponsors.
sponsors.
Yeah, we do it real quick.
Yes.
You got to do them. I'm jumping, you guys.
All right, man.
Be
Be good, Tony. See you, buddy.
Later.
All right.
No judges needed.
Don't forget to go get your shit. NoJudgesNeeded.com.
Yes, nojudgesneeded.com.
Promo code OMGH if you haven't
OMGH.
used it before. If you have used OMGH, then you can use OMGH10
It's a good discount too.
and you get $10 off of rash guards, spats, and shorts. So it's a good deal. Lavender Lane CBD oil. You can rub it all over your body or just eat it.
Spoonfuls. And there you go. Go get your hippie shit from Lavender Lane. Lavender Lane hippie stuff. They got all kind of shit, essential oils. All right, guys. I love you. Sonny
Peace.
Parlin. Good shirtless show.